Hi my dear students, welcome to English class. Dear students, we have discussed until now that Mr. Abel Merriweather has passed away, but in fact he didn't pass away and he was about to enter into the hall, and all the people of the family, Abel Merriweather's family, were shocked to see him alive, and we will see what will happen now. Now, as per the textbook, we are getting into the second part of the lesson, the dear departed. Please follow it carefully. Abel, that is, Abel Merriweather is asking all, what's the matter with little Vicky? So Vicky here refers to Victoria Slatter. The young girl was shocked to see that her grandfather was getting up, and immediately she ran down. So he was shocked to see why this girl is behaving like this, and he came out of his room and then he is asking all, what happened to Vicky? Why she is behaving in a strange manner? So what's the matter with little Vicky? He sees Ben and Mrs. Zodon. Hello. Suddenly after while coming, he sees Ben Zodon as well as Elizabeth Zodon. So why they come here? So how are you? So he is asking them. He sees Ben and Mrs. Zodon. Hello. What brings you here? How's yourself, Ben? So how are you? He is asking that. Abel thrusts his hand at Ben, who skips back smartly and retreats with Mrs. Zodon to a safe distance below the sofa. So when he sees Mr. Zodon, he extends, Abel Merriweather extends his hand to shake hands with Zodon. But because he thinks he might be a ghost, he ducks himself behind the sofa. Mrs. Slatter, the younger daughter, elder daughter, Mrs. Slatter, Amelia Slatter says, approaching Abel gingerly, carefully, cautiously. Approaching Abel gingerly, Father, is that you? Father, is that you? So she is asking. She pokes him with her hand to see if he is solid. So she is poking at Amelia Slatter is poking at her father to see whether he is really alive or not. Abel, of course it's me. Don't do that, Amelia. What the devil do you mean by this tomfoolery? Tomfoolery here, behaving in a silly, foolish manner. So, tomfoolery. Why are you behaving in this manner? Mrs. Zodon, the younger one, says, you took us by surprise, Father. Are you keeping quite well? So, it was a surprise, big surprise for all of us, Father. Are you keeping quite well? Is your health is good? So, she's asking, younger daughter is asking. Abel, trying to catch the words. What? So, come again? So, he's asking, what happened to me? See, he couldn't understand what is going on around. And he asked, Mr. Abel asked, so come again, what you said? So, are you quite well? Again, she is asking. Abel, yeah, I'm right enough, but for a bit of headache. Just he got a little headache. Looking at Amelia, what the dickens did I do with my new slippers? So, what the dickens did I do with my new slippers? What happened with my slippers? So he couldn't see his new slippers. Mrs. Slatter, confused. So she's slowly coming to senses. So father is alive and he is asking about his slippers. Aren't they by the hearth, Father? Abel, I don't see them. Observing Henry trying to remove the slippers. So while saying this, he will observe that Henry Slatter is removing his slippers. He will observe that. Why? You got them on Henry? Why you put my slippers, Henry? He is asking. Mrs. Slatter, promptly, immediately, she is coming to rescue her husband. I told him to put them on to stretch them. They were that new and hard now. Henry, so she's trying to safeguard her husband because they wanted to use them, right? So she's trying to save her husband. Mrs. Slatter snatches the slippers from Henry and gives them to Abel, who puts them on and sits in the armchair. So he relaxedly sits. Abel Merriweather sits relaxedly. Mrs. Zodon. To Ben. Well, I don't call that delicate, stepping into a dead man's shoes in such a haste. Victoria runs across to Abel and sits on the floor at his feet. So you can see in the image that Victoria sits along with her grandfather. Oh, Grandpa, I'm so glad you're not dead. So, young Victoria is asking, oh, Grandpa, I'm very happy that you're not dead. Mrs. Latter, in a vindictive whisper, hold your tongue, Victoria. She's saying, hey, hold your tongue. Why you are saying like that? So, Abel, what's that? Who's gone dead? So he's still confused. See, he wants to know what is going on around. He don't know, right? So he's telling, why you saying like that? He's asking. Mrs. Latter, loudly, she's again covering. As just now she covered her husband, Henry, she's covering her daughter. Victoria says she's sorry about your head, so about your headache. Abel, thank you, Vicky, but I'm feeling better. Now, she diverted the topic that young Victoria is worried about her grandfather's headache. And grandfather promptly responds that, yes, now I'm feeling better. Abel, why Ben? You're in mourning. And Lizzie too. Lizzie is a short form of Elizabeth, Lizzie. And Lizzie too. And Amelia and Henry. And little Vicky, who's gone dead? It's someone in the family. So he observes that everyone is in black dress. So why you all are wearing black? So is there anyone who died in the family? Now he's slowly asking about whether anyone died in the family, like that. Mrs. Latter. No one, you know, father, a relation of Ben's. Suddenly, she is diverting the topic. Yes, one of Ben's relative has died, and you don't know about them very much. No one, you know, father, a relation of Ben's. Abel. And what relation of Ben's? So, what is the relation between that deceased person, the dead person, and Ben? Mrs. Latter, his brother. Just observe, students, how easily she is lying actually. How easily, if you observe from Henry, Victoria's, how she is safeguarding, and Mrs. Latter is telling how easily she is telling lies. His brother, Ben, to Mrs. Latter, damn it, I never had one. I don't have any brother. Why are you saying like that? She is telling. He is telling. Abel, dear. What was his name, Ben? So, again, see, once we lie, again, in order to keep that lie, we have to tell many lies. So, he's asking, Abel is asking, who is that, what is the name of the person who died? Dear. What was his name, Ben? Ben, at a loss, he still got confused what to say, you don't know, right? He crosses to front of table, Mrs. Latter. Right side of the table, prompting Frederick. She's telling, see, Frederick said. Mrs. Jordan, left side of the table, prompting Albert. So both the sides, both the ladies are telling, one is telling Frederick and another is telling Albert. And he got confused. Isaac. So he don't know what to say because Abel Merriweather caught him in the wrong way. So automatically he wanted to correct it. He wanted to know. So all are confused to cover up. Abel, Isaac. Where did your brother Isaac die? Sorry. Yes. Abel, Isaac. Where did your brother Isaac die? He's asking. Ben, in Australia. So all are in confused state. Abel, well, I suppose you've only been waiting for me to begin tea. I'm feeling hungry. I'm feeling very hungry now. I think you all are waiting for me to have a tea. Mrs. Latter, taking up the kettle, I'll make tea. Abel, come along now. Sit you down and let's be jolly. Let's all come together. Let's enjoy. Let's relax and enjoy. Abel sits at the head of the table, facing spectators. Abel, suddenly recollecting, Amelia and Henry, what the devil did you mean by shifting my bureau out of my bedroom. Henry and Mrs. Slatter are speechless. Do you hear me? Henry, Amelia. So suddenly he found his table next to him. Why my table should be in my room? What made you to shift the table here? He's asking. Mrs. Zodon, what bureau was that, father? What bureau was that, father? Mrs. Zodon is, younger girl is asking. What? So immediately the younger daughter got. So what is that, Abel? Why my bureau? The one I bought, which I purchased. And you remember, students, that Amelia Slater lied that Henry bought it. Now, both the sisters will argue, you will see. Mrs. Zodon, pointing to the bureau, was it the one, father? Is it that bureau which you bought? Abel, that's it. What's it doing there? So a pause. The clock on the mantel piece strikes 6. Everyone looks at it. So suddenly the clock ticks 6. So all will look at the watch. Clock. Drag me. If that isn't my clock too. What the devil's been going on in this house? So immediately he turns the clock and immediately he'll say, that should be that is my clock. Why it is here? So Abel Merriweather is asking. Ben, well, I'll be hanged. So now he was in a hurry. He was in shock. Now he is going to identify that we all are lying about him. Ben, well, I'll be hanged. Mrs. Zodon, I'll tell you what's been going on in this house, father. Nothing sort of robbery. So younger one is complaining. Mrs. Slatter, be quiet, Elizabeth. So both are trying to pacify each other. Be quiet, Elizabeth. Mrs. Zodon, I'll not be quiet. Oh, I'll call it double-faced. Double-faced cheating. Henry, no, Elizabeth. Mrs. Zodon, and you too. Are you such a poor creature that you must do every dirty thing she tells you? So he's telling. So why you are doing everything you need to tell him? Abel, thumping the table. She's thumping the table and asking, damn it all. Will someone tell me what's been going on? Please tell me what's going on here. Mrs. Zodon, Amelia and Henry, they have stolen your clock and bureau. They sneaked into your room like thieves in the night and stole them after you were dead. So the younger daughter says, Elizabeth says that, so both Henry and Amelia stole your bureau and clock in the night. No, that they thought you were dead. Henry and Mrs. Slatter, shh, quiet, Elizabeth. So they're trying to quieten her. Mrs. Zodon, I'll not be stopped. After you were dead, I say. Abel, after who was dead? So who got shocked? Mrs. Zodon, you? Abel, but I'm not dead. Mrs. Zodon, no, but they thought you were. A pause. Abel gazes round at them. Now he is slowly understanding that. So his daughters, beloved daughters, thought him dead, and now how mean they are, he is understanding that, he realizing that, and slowly is understanding that they are after not his love, but both these daughters were after his belongings, material things, property. Abel, oh, so that's why you are all in the black today. You thought I was dead. He chuckles. He chuckles. That was a big mistake. He sits and resumes his tea. So slowly drinks his tea. Now he understood quite clearly that the real nature of his daughters. Mrs. Slatter, sobbing. This is also acting, students. Now she know that she was caught by her father. So that she is acting, sobbing. Father, Abel, I didn't take you long to start dividing my things between you. I'll tell you when I'm going to do. Since your mother died, I've lived part of the time with you, Amelia, and part with you, Lizzie. Well, I shall make a new will, leaving all my bits of things to whoever I'm living with when I die. How does that strike you? So I haven't made my will. So I've been living with both my daughters. So both Amelia as well as Elizabeth. So I'll again prepare a will. So when I die, whom the thing should belong, I will write. What do you think about that? He's telling. Mrs. Zodon, you father, you know father. Mrs. Zodon, you know father. It's quite time you came to live. Sorry, it's quite time you came to live with us again. We'd make you very comfortable. Now the younger one is asking, no father, you come and live with us. So she's trying to convince his father that she loves him very much. And Mrs. Latter, no, he's not been with us as long as he's been with you. So now Amelia is also asking Abel Merriweather to stay with them. Mrs. Zodon, I may be wrong, but I don't think father will fancy living on with you after what's happened today. After knowing this, I may be wrong, I might have did some mistakes in the past, but after knowing what you did, I don't think father will be living with you. Abel, it seems to me that neither of you has any cause to feel proud about the way you have treated me. Mrs. Latter, if I've done anything wrong, I'm sure I'm sorry for it. Mrs. Zodon, and I can't say more than that too. So both sisters are trying to convince their father. Mrs. Latter and Mrs. Zodon, no father. Abel, you both say that because of what I've told you about leaving my money. Well, since you don't want me, I'll go to someone that does. So he made his mind by that time. So because he understood that his daughters are no more loving him, so they are after his money and his property, so he decided to leave his daughters. Ben, come, Mr. Merriweather, you got to live with one of your daughters. So Ben Zodon is trying to put the things under control, solve the situation. No, it is good. It is good that if you live with one of your daughters. Abel, I'll tell you what I've got to do. I know, I've decided. By the time he made up his mind, Abel says, I'll tell you what I've got to do. On Monday next, I've got to do 3 things. On Monday next, coming Monday, I got to do 3 things. I've got to go to the lawyer and alter my will, and I've got to go to the insurance office and pay my premium, and I've got to go to St. Philip's Church and get married. Now he's announcing last. After doing all the works, finally a blow comes to them, getting married. So all got shocked. Ben and Henry, at a time they said, what? Mrs. Zodon, get married. And Mrs. Latter, he's out of his senses. Is he mad or what? He's 70 plus, 72 years. Abel Merriweather is 72 years old. Now at this age, why is he thinking about marriage? He's out of his senses. Abel, I say I'm going to get married. I say I'm going to get married. Mrs. Slater, who to? Whom you're marrying? Abel, to Mrs. John Shorrocks, who keeps the Ringo Bells. Ringo Bells is a popular restaurant, very popular restaurant. And to that owner, Abel Merriweather is marrying. She is also an old lady. We have had it fixed up a good while now. But I was keeping it for a pleasant surprise, he raises. I felt I was a bit of a burden to you. Now he is declaring slowly. I know I've been a burden to you, so I've made up my mind. Burden to you, so I found someone who would think it a pleasure to look after me. We shall be very glad to see you at the ceremony. He gets to the door. Till Monday, then 12 o'clock at St. Philip's Church, opening the door. It's good thing you bought that bureau downstairs, Amelia. It'll be handier to carry it across to the Ringo Bells on Monday. He goes out. He goes out and curtain falls. So, while getting into his room, he announces this and He says, thanks that you got the bureau down. It is a good thing, I can carry to Ringo Bells. Now this is what the shocking end students. Now if you keenly observe that the materialistic tendency of the people is taking away the beauty of life. Now what we need to understand from this lesson is that we need to focus on the human values. So unfortunately the human values are deteriorating day by day, and we need to uplift them, and it is our responsibility, it is your responsibility, my responsibility, our responsibility to uplift human values. And finally concluding that, I'll see where we are doing wrong by the statement, by the quote, and we'll finish it up. People were created to be loved, things were created to be used. The reason the world is in chaos is because things are being loved and people are being used. So let us use things and love people. Let us take care about our elders, respect our elders, and be it teachers, our family members, elders, anyone, younger one. So let us take care of them, give respect to them and love them. Let us build a beautiful society. It is all lies in our hands, friends. So keep working seriously and focus on your studies and work on your dreams. Wishing you great success in all your endeavors. This is Durga Rabanta signing off. Thank you, students.